Was there something going on?
No, I was typing.
Oh. Okay. We're live right now, by the way. What's up, everyone? Hope everyone's having a lovely Tuesday. I apologize for being 3 minutes late. Nature called at 3:57, and it was either, you know what, go through the NBA picks clenching, or go relieve myself and show up a few minutes late. I chose to come relaxed. Prop Beaver is here, obviously. AJ, tell us about your day.
I've done nothing all day besides look at these numbers, so I'm ready to go.
Good answer. All right, first game is Hornets at Pistons. All right, so I am on the Pistons, and I will type it on the screen. Detroit +4. The line movement is indicating to bet Charlotte. It was on, I think, 2.5, then 3, then 3.5. Now it's at 4. I'm still taking the Pistons here. The Hornets might very well be the worst team in the NBA right now. Yo, is that your dog barking?
Yeah. What do you want me to do? Put it down?
Yeah, true. What are you supposed to do about that? All right. So the Hornets might honestly be the worst team in the NBA right now. It's probably either them or San Antonio. And yeah, I know the Spurs are actually playing a little better now, but still, it's either them or San Antonio. I don't think the Hornets should be favored against anybody. Detroit's been a beast on the road against the spread, too. The Pistons are 7-1-2 against the spread in their last 10 road games. Over the past 3 weeks, Charlotte has an efficient field goal percentage of 49.8, the only team in the NBA below 15. So they're dead last by a good margin. This team is not getting open looks. They're not hitting the open looks that they get. And yeah, the one argument you can make for the Hornets here is Detroit is going to be the worst defense that they've seen in a while, probably in a whole month since the Hornets has seen a bottom 7, bottom 8 defense. So if there ever is a good spot for the Hornets to snap their shooting woes, it would be tonight at home against Detroit. But yo, you could say the same exact thing for the Pistons, who have been covering spreads. I mean, look at the recent opponents for the Pistons. Lakers, whatever. Grizzlies, Pelicans, Heat, Grizzlies, Mavericks, Knicks, Cavs. I mean, the Pistons have been going through the gauntlet. They've actually played a tougher schedule than Charlotte has. So the fact that I'm catching 4 points, I think Charlotte should be getting 1 or 2 at home here. I'm happy to take 4. And Bojan Bogdanovic shooting over 50% from the floor and 50% from 3 in his last 5 games. This weak Charlotte defense should be a nice breath of fresh air for the Pistons. I think they win. I'll take the points.
Yeah, so I like that. I'm not betting on the Pistons, but I am betting on a Piston, and that is going to be Killian Hayes. I just simply don't understand what the books are doing with this guy's line. Earlier, it was posted at 5.5 at -120. It's already moved to 6.5 at plus money, and I would still take it at 6.5 for
6.5 what?
Half a unit.
Assists?
Yeah, I was about to clarify. 6.5 assists. Yeah. So it would be Killian Hayes over 6.5 assists plus 115. And the reason I like this is because the Hornets right now are giving up assists like candy. And it's not even 2 point guards that are necessarily assist machines. So let's look at some of the recent guys that have faced them. We just had Jalen Brunson, who had 11 against them. Kyrie Irving had 9 against them. John Wall, 12. Marcus Smart, 15. D'Angelo Russell, 10. This is a guy that without Cade Cunningham is averaging 7.2 assists per game over his last 10. On top of that, he's seen this Hornets team twice going back to last season, and guess what he had? 7 and 11 assists in 2 games, and that was with Cade Cunningham. Now without him and an increase in assist chances at the plus money, I think we're getting this at is a bit of a joke. Also, just in terms of a trend, going back to last season, this has now been a trend for 18 games. On the road, Killian Hayes has gone over and then gone under. Over and then under. Last game he went under. I think he goes over today. Love that plus money we're getting.
Sounds good. I like that. You can get down with some plus money. I don't know about LaMelo Ball, to answer one of the comments.
That's what I heard too, and it honestly makes sense to me because they have Terry Rozier's rebounding prop that I take every day. they have it at the most suspect line I've seen yet. And it must mean that LaMelo's coming back.
Yeah, I mean, Roto Wire says he game time decision. Roto Grinders has him out of the lineup. Oh no, he's back in now in Roto Grinders. He was out before, so looks like he might play. But I mean, he's barely played this year. I'm not. That doesn't change the handicap for this game. The Hornets are terrible.
And Melo has shot horribly this
He's
season,
been so bad. He's been so his good games. He's shooting like 38% from the floor. All right, next game is Warriors at Pacers, and this is kind of a no-brainer. And I know that obviously it's Golden State, and this could easily lose. I'm not saying no-brainer in a sense of this is a lock. That's not what I mean by no-brainer. What I mean by it is the numbers are pretty straightforward on where the bet should be here. Fade Golden State on the road. It's plain and simple. I can't believe the public's this heavy on them. Again, I mean, I don't care that they're on a back-to-back. I don't care about that. I don't care about them losing 3 of the last 4, and it could be a bounce-back spot. I don't care about that. I don't care about Klay Thompson being out. I don't care about any of that. The truth is, this team is 2-12 on the road this season. Golden State, listen to this. The Golden State Warriors are the worst road team in the NBA this season. The worst. They are dead last against the spread and straight up. Actually, I should check straight up. I'm assuming 2-12 is dead last straight up. Maybe not.
I would assume, dude.
That's has horrendous. To be. It's pitiful.
That is horrendous.
Yeah, 2-12 straight up. And they're laying points. I mean, are they still laying points? This line was moving before. No, they're not.
Now they're giving.
Yep. So the line's 2.5. Good. They're moving in the right direction. This one moved recently because literally like 2.5 hours ago, I wrote Pacers plus 1.5 down on the VIP ticket. So I'll change that. Line has been on the move, and and still the public is heavy on Golden State. Definitely taking the Pacers here without a doubt.
Yeah, so I agree with you firmly here. I wrote that I'm going sharp here more than anything. 75% of the bets, 93% of the money on Golden State. And before they had announced that Klay Thompson injury, the line wasn't budging. So they were just trying to collect all the Golden State Warriors money they possibly could. Now the Warriors are on a road back-to-back. I mean, I couldn't think of a worse spot for this team considering how bad they play on the road already and then with no rest. I mean, that is just a kick in the dick to them. And you know what I like about the Pacers? They looked horrible last game, but they faced arguably the best road defense in the NBA with Miami. I mean, I watched that entire game, and they were going ballistic on the defensive end, doing everything they can to limit Tyrese Halliburton. I don't think that's going to be the case tonight, and I don't really think the Warriors have the defenders to do so. I mean, now I'm checking the injury report, and maybe even Steph Curry could be out of this game. Which I thought was going to be the case going in. I thought that all the stars were going to sit. So I think the sooner you bet this, the better. I think we're going to be catching more and more value as time goes on. And then the last thing I want to say is the Pacers own the Warriors from a spread perspective. They've covered their last 5 of 6 against the spread against the Warriors. And think about the last time they played. No Tyrese Halliburton, no Miles Turner. The Warriors had Wiggins, they had Klay Thompson, and guess what? Andrew Nembhard goes off. Pacers win that game straight up at Golden State. Now at Indiana, I think they could win this game yet again.
Yeah, completely agree. Next, Atlanta at Orlando. Oh, man, this one.
It's stinky cheese.
It is. I mean, I'm taking the points with the Magic, but I'm not.
Yeah, baby.
I'm not kicking down anybody's door to tell them to tail me on this. So it's really just the Hawks are not good right now. The Hawks are 1-6 in their last 7 road games. They've been terrible on the road for a couple of years now. This isn't like a new trend. The Hawks have been a bet 'em at home, fade 'em on the road team since 2020, since that playoff run that they were on. You want to know who they are? Like I said, the Hawks are 1-6 on the road in their last 7. Want to know who the one win is against, though? The Magic. They beat them up pretty good. Hawks, but just still crushed with injuries. I mean, if they can get DeJounte Murray and John Collins back on the floor, and I know John Collins hasn't been playing great, but he's still been a staple in that lineup for years now. And if you get those two guys back on the court, maybe we could talk about betting the Hawks on the road. But, I mean, the guys that are replacing their minutes, Trent Forrest and AJ Griffin, neither of these guys have shown they could really be a defensive piece. The Hawks, man. You can't lay points with this team on the road. And look, the Magic won, what did the Magic win, 3 in a row or something like that, right?
Yeah.
I believe it's the first time the first time Orlando has won 3 basketball games in a row since 2020. I believe. I didn't write it down, but I remember seeing that. So I like DeAndre Hunter. I think you could probably throw him on Banchero, but who out of the Trent Forrest, AJ Griffin replacement team is going to cover Franz Wagner? Because dude is going off right now. He's putting up really legitimate numbers. The public's on the Hawks and the Sharps are on the Magic, so I'm siding with the Sharps. Give me Orlando plus 2.5.
Just a heads up, the charts you have on the screen are Buffalo, New York.
Shit. I did this one too.
It's no big deal.
I was having problems with the charts.
You're putting together all the graphics. You got a lot of things going on. I'm sure the people understand. Just a little mistake. If you're a VIP,
there might be
just go right on the website. We'll have that.
There might be a few of those though, because I was having trouble with the charts. So my bad.
So for this pick, I agree with you quite a bit. I mean, the Magic just look good right now. They've covered 4 straight games. It's not against exactly scrubs either. I mean, they covered against the Bucks, kept that one really close, despite the fact that Paolo Banchero, their leading scorer, literally couldn't make a shot. So that was impressive. And then they win straight up against the Clippers and the Toronto Raptors twice at home. So they're starting to heat up, and I know that the Hawks own them. The Hawks are 7-1 against the spread in their last 8 against Orlando. But if there's ever a time where this Magic team could break the trend, it would be with Trae Young potentially out, DeJounte Murray, and John Collins. On top of that, in just terms of the injuries, like, yes, the Magic are just banged up as the Hawks, but the Magic have had more time to gel with this collective unit over the last 2 weeks, whereas the Hawks are kind of just being, I guess, dropped into this situation with random guys getting injured by the week. I mean, this is still a Hawks offense that is 30th in points of possession over the last 2 weeks. Not a team I want to back whatsoever. I think that if Young plays, things could get interesting. We could possibly catch more points, but at the low line, give me the home dog with the points.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not 100% sure that this is going to make the final VIP ticket. It's just very obvious that Orlando's the sharp side here, and laying points with Atlanta on the road just doesn't seem like a good idea right now, plain and simple. Next game, Knicks on the road in Chicago. I got the right pie charts on this one. Yeah, I'm fading my guys. I'm on the Bulls. I think it's at 4.5 now. It was at 4 earlier. Let me check. Yep, 4.5. So Chicago's looked like shit, without a doubt. I will give you that. That being said, it's important to take note of what's going on in this Bulls season right now, like where they're at schedule-wise. 7 of the last 10 Chicago Bulls games have been on the road. Want to know what they did in the 3 home games in that stretch? They won them all. They beat the Mavs, the Wizards, and the Celtics. So it's not even like they played scrubs. I know Dosunmu may not play. In fact, let me check an update on that. Is Dosunmu playing? Still game time decision. But I still have faith in the Bulls as long as Caruso plays, and it looks like he's going to. Another guy is listed as a game time decision. So this is one of those bets that hinges on... I can't back the Bulls if both Caruso and Dosunmu are out. But if one of those two play, which it looks like maybe both will play, but if one of those two play, I like them. I think the Knicks offense is going to really struggle here. The Knicks have been playing excellent defense. And this is definitely not fading the Knicks defense. I trust the Knicks defense to travel into Chicago. But there's no defense for when a guy like DeMar DeRozan gets hot. If he's hitting his off-balance 16, 17 footers, it doesn't matter the kind of defense you're playing. He's going to get his. And this is more of a fate of the Knicks offense and the Bulls' recent success at home. So give me Chicago minus 4.5. I'm fading my Knicks.
So I didn't ride with a side in that game, even though I probably would lean Bulls with you as well. But what I do like quite a bit is the under at 225.5 in this game for the game total. The last 6 to 7 matchups between these teams have gone under, while also the last 6 to 7 matchups between these teams at Chicago have went under. As you've seen, the Knicks defense is on fire lately. The under's 8-2 in their last 10 road games, and they've hit in 6 straight Knicks games overall. Not only that, but the Bulls defense is much better at home. 9-2 to the under in their last 11 home games. It's not like the offense is much better at home either. For some reason, when I look at these Chicago Bulls props, I always look to bet their overs on the road, not at home. For some reason, both Levine and DeRozan don't seem to be as potent at home. That's more so Vucevic's spot, but he's going to be covered by Mitch Robinson, so that's a tough matchup. I just think that this is a recipe for unders, with the Knicks being third worst in points of possession and their defense being second best over the last 2 weeks. That is just a recipe for unders, and I'm going to continue betting them.
I just added the under. I like what you said. 9-2 to the under in their last 11 Bulls. All right.
Yeah.
So last 11 home games. I'm sorry. Next game, Sacramento at Toronto. I went back and forth on this one. I was on the Kings. About an hour and a half ago, I switched, and I'm pretty confident in my switch. This is probably going to make the ticket. I think Toronto -5 is the play here. And like I said, my initial lean here was Sacramento. The reason I flip-flopped is... All right, so the reason I like the Kings is it seems like the books are definitely on the Kings. They've been taking Toronto Raptors money all day and haven't moved this line at all. It opened at 5. It's still at 5. Which indicates that the books are completely fine selling all these Raptors -5 tickets. But as we've seen, especially in the NBA, the books are wrong all the time. As far as the quality of basketball we're seeing from these two teams, both of them are kind of in a rut. They're both 1-3 in their last 4. The Raps just lost back-to-back games to the Orlando Magic. And they're going to be playing without OG Anunoby tonight. I believe he missed last game. I think it'll be his second game he missed in a row. One thing you got to say about the Raptors, though, is this team can play at home in Canada. 4-1 against the spread in their last 5, and that's despite struggling. So even though they haven't been playing well, they're still covering the number at home. And their only loss, they're 4-1 against the spread in their last 5. The only loss was Boston. So that's definitely nice to see if you're siding with me on Toronto. I wanted to bet the Kings, I really did, but you obviously, if you watch this YouTube channel, I love to fade the public. But the Kings are really struggling on this East Coast road trip. They're really having a rough time. I'm taking Toronto at home. I don't think this number's long enough to back the Kings, so I'm laying them.
So I heard what you said in the beginning, and we had the exact opposite thing go on. I came into this wanting to bet the Raptors. I'm like, okay, they're at home finally, off 2 losses against the Magic. Like, this is a must-bet spot. They're going to pop off. And then I saw where the money was at and stuff, and I saw some of the books drop in the line, and I was like, what the hell is going on here? So give me the Kings +5, and let me explain why. The high total in this game kind of shows me that they think the Kings are going to have control of this one. The Kings are the higher tempo team. They like to make teams uncomfortable with that pace, and the Toronto Raptors are one of the slowest teams in pace going back to last season. So that's not something I think that points towards the Raptors side, but that wasn't the only thing that was going to get me. Here's what's got me. Toronto's first in points of possession and frequency for transition offense, but they just lost a huge part of their transition game. I mean, if you look at where those transition possessions are coming from, most of them are from steals. They're first in frequency off steals, but just 18th off rebounds. And guess who's the steal leader, not only for the Raptors, but for the NBA? Mr. OG Anunoby. With him out, I think that's going to stall the offense a bit in transition and also decrease the amount of opportunities they have. Not only that, but the Kings, they're second best in the NBA in transition defense, not only on the season, but over the last 2 weeks. And not only is this just a hit from that offensive standpoint, but Anunoby is undoubtedly the Raptors' best defender, hands down. Last year, the Raptors had a 31-17 record with Anunoby on the floor, 64.6 win percentage. But with him off the floor, that plummeted to just 17-17, 50-50 win percentage. I know the Kings are struggling, I know, but the books are not looking to give out free money. I'm going to ride with the Kings there.
You're forgetting to incorporate the fact that the Kings have looked like hot shit on this road trip.
The Kings have looked like hot shit, yes, but you're going to give me 5 points, and I think that they could exploit a Raptors team whose secret second-best player is OG Anunoby. I mean, Siakam's a beast.
What do you mean secret second-best player? That's their best player. I'll take...
I mean,
put OG on the Knicks.
Some would argue FVV, but I disagree with that,
love
obviously.
OG. Next game. Portland at San Antonio. Oh, reluctantly, I am limping over to the side of the Spurs.
So am I, baby.
Damn it. I'm betting the worst team in basketball. I may be a sucker for this one, but 98% of the money's on Portland. 98. It's hard for me to lay 7.5 points on the road to begin with, let alone when the whole world's doing it. The Spurs have won 3 in a row. I'm not throwing them any parades for it. Hold on one sec. Yeah, I'm not throwing them any parades for it, because before that, they had lost 16 out of 17. Obviously, you know I like to fade the public and take a home dog, but the main reason for this bet is the Portland looks great this year, and they deserve the credit. Damian Lillard looks awesome. That being said, this team has not performed the same on the road at all. I mean, in their last road game, they beat Utah by 5. So, in the last road game, they beat the Jazz. Before that, they lost to the Lakers, lost to the Nets, beat the Knicks in overtime by 3, lost to Cleveland, lost to Milwaukee, lost to Dallas. We're talking about a team that's just 2-5 straight up in their last 7 road games. And neither of those 2 wins were even close to being by 8 or more points. So to even consider laying 7.5 with a team that just hasn't done that in forever, it's just kind of crazy if you think about it. Also, people love highlights. People love ESPN. People love storylines. So when you got a guy, a superstar, a very likable superstar, you're not going to find many people that don't like Damian Lillard. When you got a guy like that going off right now, he's averaging 38 points a game in his last 3. You can't turn on ESPN or watch an NBA show without seeing something about Damian Lillard, which means the public's feeling hyped on this Portland team. So whenever there's something like that going on, you're going to see an inflated line. But the truth is, Damian Lillard has been better in every single statistical category at home. I'm not kidding. Field goal percentage, 3-point percentage, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, free throw percentage. Literally everything, he is better at home. I'm not laying 7.5 on the road with Portland. They haven't really shown me they can play on the road recently. I'll take the number with the Spurs. Let's go for 4 in a row.
Yeah, so I wrote down that I'm not in love with this game. We're going to play it sharp. We're going to fade 95% of the money on the Blazers, and we're going to take the extra points while we do it because that line continues to move. The Spurs have covered 5 straight against Portland and are coming off 2 huge upset wins against Miami and Cleveland. And it's kind of giving me that nostalgia from the beginning of the season run where they were just beating teams they had no business beating. Not only covering, but as I said, beating them straight up. I'm not saying they're going to beat the Trailblazers straight up tonight, but in terms of a hype perspective, I mean, could there be any more hype on the Portland Trailblazers, as Kyle was saying? Just about everybody and their mother that caps props has Damian Lillard over points tonight as one of their best props of the day. But I don't know. I'm just not seeing it. I mean, if you look at what the Spurs are quite good at defensively, their best defender is Trey Jones. And over the last 2 weeks, they're holding point guards to the bottom 5 in terms of points per game, field goal percentage, 3-pointers made. So this really isn't a great matchup for Damian Lillard. I know that the Trailblazers have some other guys who could produce. I mean, Simons, Nurkic, Grant, but ultimately, just give me the points. Got to play it sharp sometimes, especially in the NBA, especially on a loaded Wednesday.
Yeah, this is one of those where, like, I'm going to play the Spurs, and then even if I'm watching the Blazers go up by 25, I won't even be mad because, like, I know I made the right decision. You know, like, if I laid 7.5 with Portland and I'm watching the Spurs, like, go back and forth at the lead, I'm kicking myself for being an idiot.
Yeah. That would be heinous.
Yeah, that'd be like it's so much more painful to lose on the public side than losing on the sharp side. Losing on the sharp side, it's like, oh, okay, public got one tonight. Like, it's all right, it happens. When you go public and lose, you feel like a sucker. Oh my god,
who wants to feel like a sucker?
Dude, it's the worst. It's the worst feeling.
Nobody.
Anyway, oh my god. Yo, you can't see the screen, AJ, so the pie charts are right. The graphics the logos that are moving, it says Heat at Steelers.
Oh, very nice.
So we got Miami on the road in Pittsburgh and Heinz Field. Kenny Pickett. All right, anyway. So, another no-brainer. And again, when I say no-brainer, I don't mean like it's a lock. I mean like the handicap is pretty easy to get here. OKC plus 2.5. I think it's time we So yeah, there's no Jimmy Butler for the Heat tonight, which means the offense is going to be stale, even more stale than it already is. I think it's time. This is what I wanted to say. I think it's time that we're at the point in the season where we can really start capping these teams for what they've showed us this year and start erasing what we thought they were going to be from our brains. We're a third of the way through the season now. We're not 10 games in. We're 29, 30 games into the season. Let me ask you something. Based on what we've seen this year, just this season, can you really tell me that the Miami Heat are a better team than Oklahoma City? Straight up, based on what we've seen this year. I mean, their records are pretty similar. This game's in Oklahoma City. The Thunder are 6-5 straight up at home. The Heat are 4-9 on the road. Heat are 9-18 against the spread on the season. That's the worst in the entire NBA. The Miami Heat have been the worst team to bet on, the least profitable team to bet on the entire league this year. People keep pricing the Heat as if like they're still watching the bubble Heat or the playoff Heat. This is a different team right now that's really struggling. And like I said, Butler's not in there. Oklahoma City at home should probably be laying 3 or 4 here. Let me just make sure this line hasn't moved while I'm talking. No, +2.5. Perfect. Yeah, I know that a lot of the action public is leaning OKC. Money's all over OKC. And if the Heat steal this one, I'll take the loss, but there's no way I can lay points on the road with the team that's been the worst team to bet in the league. No way.
Yeah, so I didn't bet a side for this game. I bet a prop, and it's probably one of my favorites of the day. I'm going with Tyler Hero over 33.5 PRAs, points, rebounds, and assists. He's averaging 37 plus minutes this season without Butler thus far, and without Butler in 34 plus minutes going back to last season, Hero's 8-2 to the over in his last 10 games, averaging 37 PRAs a game. Over the last 30 days, the Thunder are getting obliterated by opposing shooting guards, allowing the second most points per game, 5th highest field goal percentage, 2nd most rebounds, 8th most assists. I mean, they are giving out stats like candy. On top of that, both games he faced OKC last year, it was without Butler, and guess what? He had 37 and 39 PRAs. He's been much better on the road, not only this season, but going back to last season. And if the Thunder are going to be able to keep this close, like Kyle said, and like I think they will be able to, then I think that we're going to see a little bit of a battle between SGA and Hero going back and forth, stuff in the stat sheets. Obviously, Bam Adebayo is not a bad look as well, but I prefer Hero in this spot.
All right. I mean, I could give you the Hero PRA. I can give you that. Next up, Washington at Denver. This is a quick one. I'm on the Wizards, but and I am going to bet it. This isn't like, hey, I'm not going to make the ticket. I am going to bet this one. It'll probably just be a half unit. Obviously, the line has blown up to 11.5 because there's no Bradley Beal and there's no Kristaps Porzingis tonight. And Bradley Beal's been missing games, but Porzingis has been a killer. That's the one that is going to hurt the Wizards. He's averaging 26.8 and 9 rebounds a game and shooting over 52% from the floor in his last 5. So missing him is going to be a hit to a Wizards offense that's actually been playing pretty well. But here's the thing. Kyle Kuzma is also going off recently. He's averaging 26 and 7.5 rebounds himself in the last 5, and he's been hot from 3, and that's the important part. If you notice his last 2 games, he was on 11 of 21 from deep in his last 2 games. You want to know who's been the worst defense in the NBA against the 3-point shot over the last 3 weeks? The Denver Nuggets. So I think this line is inflated because Porzingis is out, and Bradley Beal, but he's been out. And I think people are just overvaluing the stars. 11.5 points is a shitload, especially when you have a red-hot outside shooter who's going to see an increase in his volume, in his usage. I mean, Kyle Kuzma was probably going to attempt 30, 35 shots tonight, and he's been red-hot from outside against a defense that hasn't been able to stop the 3. I'm not saying, like, take the Wizards, it's a lot, nothing like that. Probably a half unit, but I definitely like Washington.
Yeah, this game is so hideous. Without Porzingis, I mean, let's just take a gander at the Wizards starting 5. Monte Morris, I don't know why I just said it like that. Monte Morris, Corey Kispert, Denny Avdija, Kyle Kuzma, Daniel Gafford. Holy Christ, that is about as bad as it gets in terms of an NBA starting 5. And God, I hate this. I hate laying big points, especially with Denver. They're not even.
You're a coward.
They're not even covering spreads lately. They failed to cover in 5 straight games.
Go ahead, lay 11.5. See what happens.
But I can't do it. This Washington Wizards team literally can't create a shot. Who the fuck is going to create a shot on this team?
You know what? Add it to your prop sheet. Kuzma over. I don't even know what it is. He's going to take 35 shots tonight.
He will take 35 shots. I'll give you that.
And he's been
20% from the floor.
He's 11 of 21 from deep in his last 2 games. He went 7-11 the other night. He's hot right now. You're going to be watching. You're going to be sitting in your bedroom on your Thomas the Tank Engine chair or whatever the hell that is, that weird ass red chair. You're going to be watching Kuzma splash and be like, "Oh my god, Sauce was so right." That's what's going to be happening.
I mean, I'm not going to watch the game. I'm not gonna bet the game. This game is garbage. I'm just telling you, if I had to pick a side,
I'm betting.
I'd be laying the 11.5.
And the fact that the fact that you're laying the points makes me want to pick Washington money line, just because I'm feeling it now. All right.
Yeah, no, you should probably put down the ticket. Full unit bet of the day.
Cleveland at Dallas. This one sucks because it feels like the pick is too obvious. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Dallas. But we know that Cleveland's a talented team. So I'm going to explain to you the trends of what's been going on with these teams and why Dallas is the obvious choice. But it's not like Cleveland doesn't have the talent to just break a trend. So, all right. So Dallas, this is square. First of all, it's square. It's the public play. Public's definitely on Dallas here. But there's no way I could get to Cleveland. First of all, the Mavs have been very good at home. They're 11-4 at home at the season. The problem with the Mavs at home was, at least a couple weeks ago, they were winning games, but they weren't covering numbers, right? But at a short line like 2.5, really not as much of a factor as when they're laying 6 or 7. So the short line's 2.5. So even if you are scared of that was happening a couple weeks ago, you'd always just take Dallas money line. I'm not. I'm going to lay them. Can we talk about how bad the Cleveland Cavs have been on the road? Because I don't think people truly realize how bad this Cavs team has been on the road. Ready? First of all, they're 1-8 straight up in their last 9. Their only win was against the Pistons in Detroit, and they didn't even cover. They're 0-8-1 against the spread in their last 9 games. It's been what? I'm going to actually look this up. What has it been? 6 weeks since the Cavs covered a spread on the road? Hold on. That's an exaggeration. It probably hasn't been 6 weeks. The Los Angeles Lakers on November 6th. So it's been 5.5 weeks. Actually, I was close. I exaggerated when I said 6 weeks, and I was almost right. That's how long ago it's been since the Cavs have covered a spread on the road. I think most of the people listening would agree with me. Fade Cleveland on the road until they win one, right? Give me Dallas.
Yeah, I certainly agree, and I also went through the same thought process. I sat there and I was overthinking the bet for an hour, thinking oh, do I take a team total or something like that? And then I was like, AJ, let's keep it simple. What the hell are we doing? The Cavs have, not only are you bringing up those road trends, which are great, but if we're just looking at the matchup itself, the Cavs have failed to cover their last 7 of 8 against the Dallas Mavericks and have lost the last 7 to 8 matchups straight up as well. And the Mavs, while they can't cover for jack shit, as you said, 11-4 at home, considering the spread's only 2.5, we're asking them to cover by a lone basket, maybe a basket and a half. And I think they could get the job done. I mean, this Dallas defense at home is quite stout, 8th in the NBA in points of possession. And wonder what Cleveland is offensively on the road over the last month. They're 32nd, and they're 32nd by a mile.
32nd? There's not even 32 teams, bro. You're in NFL
My bad.
mode.
I'm in NFL mode. I'm sorry. 30th. And then, my bad. They're only averaging 101.8 points per 100 possessions.
Oh, my God. And what's the time frame on that? That's so bad.
That's over the last month. Exactly.
On the road in the
14th.
last month. Oh, my God. I didn't even see. 101 points per 100 possessions is disgusting.
That's what I'm saying. That's really, 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 really bad. We just saw a similar struggling road offense, which is Milwaukee, who's conveniently 29th, going to Dallas. And honestly, if Dallas doesn't have an aneurysm in the fourth quarter of that game, they would have beat the shit out of Milwaukee.
Hell yeah.
I think they can handle the Cavs today. Give me Mavs -2.5.
Yep. Agreed. All right. Last game. I like this one. T-Wolves, baby. T-Wolves, without a doubt. Let me get my pick things over here. Wait, what the hell? Where can I find them? Oh, here we go. So I'm on Minnesota plus 6.5, definitely. This is like perfect. The public is heavy on Clippers. Everyone in the world is hammering the Clippers, and this line's at 6.5. It's almost like we've been waiting for this. We've been waiting for that moment. Obviously, we all thought the Clippers were going to be a great team this year, and they very well may be. But it's the perfect spot to fade them. Coming off a huge statement win over the Celtics, right? They beat the hell out of them. Kawhi looked awesome. Minnesota's coming off back-to-back beatdowns from Portland. Like, the stock on Minnesota is super low, and the stock on the Clippers is soaring right now. It's the perfect buy low, sell high point. This line should probably be about 2, based on how these teams have played so far. So at 6.5, the value is all over Minnesota. Definitely on the T-Wolves here for sure.
Yeah, so in this game, I was looking at Kawhi Leonard over 5.5 rebounds, but I'm getting some reverse line movement. So I'm going to have to pull that play. Not going to give you guys a play that looks very trappy. I'm just going to have to ride with you on Minnesota, considering some people in the comments are saying that you should deactivate your account if you're betting Minnesota. I feel like that's a good sign.
Wait. What did people in the comments say?
I'm Toxic said, if you dare take the Timberwolves, deactivate your bookie.
Oh my god, perfect. Account. Double down. That's like something a public bettor says.
Yeah, that's not a diss to you, I'm Toxic. It's just like, that's what we want to hear when we're betting things. Yeah. We want the public perception to be the complete other way. And honestly, the Timberwolves are a pile of garbage. I will wholeheartedly admit that. But they are showing a bit of signs lately. D'Angelo Russell looks great lately. So if he could show up for this game, I mean, I think that the Timberwolves could cover the numbers. 6.5 points is a lot. I mean, as good as the Clippers looked against the Celtics, don't forget that they were looking quite shitty in their previous games. I mean, I think this is an ultimate overreaction from a great game against a great team in Boston.
If you take away that game we just saw against the Celtics, and that game was great. I mean, the Clippers are around a 500 team that hasn't showed any consistency. In fact, like, they're pretty on par with where you would rate the Timberwolves. I mean, the Timberwolves have been worse, but how much worse? What if you take away? We rewind 3 days. These teams were about even. Now, one game, all of a sudden, there's a 6.5, 7 point difference. No way. That's crazy. That's an overreaction. Definitely on the T-Wolves. So, oh man. So the pie charts for this one say Carolina Panthers at Seattle Seahawks. Whoops. Okay. Yeah, you could see during the week when there's still NFL on and there's bowl games this weekend. Unfortunately, the NBA, the live show, is kind of the lowest thing on the priority list as far as making sure the graphics. I got to make sure the research and the picks are done first, and then the graphics second. But all right, so that's it. We went through all the games. Let's have ourselves a good night. VIP will be posted at about. I mean, it's done. I just want to check line movements and if there's any updates to injuries. So give me like 10 minutes and I'll post that. You're coming over, right, to make the Thursday Night Football video?
Yes, sir. I'm headed over right after we end this.
All right, cool. All right, everyone have a great night. And I'll talk to you live shows Sunday morning for NFL.
See you, Chiefs, then.